Hey everybody, Logan here. Today I'm bringing you a video about your PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. Yeah, and things you can buy for it. What? Accessories. Some of the best accessories you can buy. Hey, and maybe even a few pretty bad ones. With that being said, have you ever thought about what you can do and what you cannot do to your PlayStation 5 without taking it apart? Yeah, there really isn't much out there to do besides buy a few accessories that are add-ons, a little bit of modification that anybody can do that really doesn't do anything to damage your controller, and I'll show you about that too. But let's take a look at some of the accessories you can buy for your DualSense controller. Ah, a couple of them there, okay. Here we go. Let's start with a couple of my DualSense controllers that I've already added some accessories to. Let's start with the camo one. With the camo one, all I added were some stick caps. If you look, you can just add these on, and that's it. Now they've changed the texture and also protect the stick in itself. So the easiest way to put these on, we'll do this. You fold them backwards. And that's with all these caps. I'll show you a couple of others. And then you just pop it on there. There you go. Just make sure it's nice and tight around the bottom so it doesn't come off. This is from a company called Skull & Co. I've used these. These are my favorites. I have them on my Switch Pro controllers. I have them on my Xbox controllers and a couple of others. This is the one that I choose for the PlayStation style. There are also a couple of others like these that will extend the length of your sticks. So depending on what type of games you play, they will come in handy. I use those for first-person shooters and third-person depending on the game I'm playing. Now let's look at the blue one. The blue one, I've added the stick caps, just the covers to protect the tops. It also changes the texture with these and gives you a color accent that matches the controller. Now, one thing I did is change the faceplate. The faceplate is the easiest mod to do without damaging or changing or hurting or doing anything to the physical body of the controller. So all you have to do is get something like this, a guitar pick if you will, but a lot of these come with one way to remove them. You just pop them in, they slide in this way, and then pops out. Then you can purchase all kinds. They used to sell them at Five Below, but unfortunately not anymore. I bought some of them on Amazon, and I just take these, and you can just go whatever color, pop it on like so. You pop it in there, pop it down there. Boom, good to go. You can change it to whatever colors you want depending on what you purchase. So you just make sure it's nice and tight. There you go. So you can do that, and then if you don't want it, you say, hey, I don't like it, same way. Pop it off. Doesn't do any damage to the controller. There you go. Slide this one back in here. Make sure it's nice and tight. There you go. This is the one I like. I like putting the gray on here because it matches the buttons. I thought that was pretty nifty. Now, another one I have, same way as this, but it was a solid black one. I changed it to red and black. So you have those options. Like I said, you can do a number of those. They come in multiple packs, or you can buy them individually with all kinds of other different modifications. But then once you start getting into that, you got to take things on the controller apart. Nah, I'm not a big fan of that. That's not what this video is about. So let's take a look at some other options. Now, if you don't want to go as far as taking the faceplates off, you can get silicone sleeves. And that just makes it softer. And then depending on which ones you have, they have some kind of grips. These are the ones that I got at Five Below way back when, but there's all kinds of other companies that sell them. Number them on Amazon from, I think it's Ovio, as well as Extreme Rate. There's a number of them you can find out there. And then you just place them on the controller like such. Here, just put this one on. They're very simple to do, and they stretch very easily. So it takes a lot to break them, even though it looks like it might. Very simple. Boom. Makes it a little softer to the touch. You have those, and there you go. Some people like these. Now, the ones on my wife's controller, we have black and blue. She has, I think, the blue on the white and the black on her purple, something like that. But it's just to keep them from getting scuffed and whatnot. But you can still see some of the colors throughout it. I think the black is a little nicer on certain colors because it allows the other one to pop the accent color. So you have that as well. Next, a charge base. Pretty simple. Now, one thing with certain charge bases, if it requires it to be lined up, you can see a number of them if you search on Amazon. They won't fit with the stick cover. So be careful which one you buy. This one will. It'll just sit down like that. There you go. And then same. Now, this one's a bit easier to use. This one is a officially licensed Sony one. I think this one is, yes, Power A, and you can just plug it into the wall. Other ones require you to plug it into the console. I'm not a big fan of those because they do rely on a USB port on the console. I do have one because that was the first one and the only one I was able to get. Then later on, I got this one. So this is the one that I use from time to time. I had it in another room. As you can see, I've wrapped it up because I moved everything. So I have not plugged this back in yet, but I think this is a fantastic accessory, one that you need for your controllers, especially if you want to keep them charged with as low of a battery life as PlayStation controllers have been known to have. PlayStation 4 and 5. It's always great. You can just dock it when you're done. Next, these. Okay, this is a useless one unless you want to store it. That's it. I don't know if you're going to take your controller with you, but hey, it's a thing. Just pop it in there. Boom. There you go. There you go. That's literally it. These things are kind of useless unless you want to protect your controller if you have a collector's edition that you don't want to get damaged. But then again, most people want to put those on display or use it because of how much they spent on it. So that's one thing. Now, there is a different version of these that you can buy that look more like the Xbox Elite cases. But this is a pouch on the top. That's it. Gives you a little more space if you want to do that. Now, it's meant to hold the PlayStation. It holds it very snug because of the design. And you can't do it that way. So it has to be done this way, but it gets in there very snug. So you got to make sure the ones you say are for PlayStation 5. Because like I said, this will fit. No problem. And they're designed, they fit PlayStation 4 controllers slightly a bit better. But I'm not a big fan of these. That's why if you want to use the other one, that's the better way to go. But this one will hold a charge cable. And speaking of charge cables, here you go. You got a light up charge cable. So give me 1 second. Let me undo this and we will show you how it works. There you go. You can see it lights up. I know that's not the easiest to see, but it does light up. And then you just plug it. Boom. Good to go. And then it lights up. But hey, one thing with this cable, it's Type-C on one end, Type-A on the other. So if you have a PlayStation 5 Slim, that's going to be a pain. So I would suggest try to find one of these online that are Type-C to Type-C. They sell them Type-C to Type-A, Type-C to Type-C. And they light up different colors. This one happens to be red, but there you go. So you do have that option as well if you want to throw some little lighting customization in it as well. And now, the worst accessory. Some of these are questionable, like the cases and the silicone sleeves, I think, are not that great, but hey, they're a thing, I guess. I think some of the better ones are the stick covers and the heighteners, as well as the faceplate accessories. Those are all nice. And the controller charger. But this one is probably the dumbest and the most useless I've ever purchased. And it is very, very stupid. And it came from Five Below. You can buy these anywhere. You can buy them on Amazon. They still sell them. But this is dumb. It's a rechargeable battery pack to go on top of your controller. But you're like, wait. That sounds pretty good. So when it dies, it recharges it. Right. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. So if you put it on here, it doesn't fit too well because you got a space here. So you're going to, I'm not going to do it because you're going to cause damage because of the way it sits. So you can't use it with this very well. You can, I wouldn't recommend it, but it also has adhesive right there. So it wants you to stick it to there. Do not. Why? Because if you don't, it's a little wiggly wobbly. And then here, let me just show you. Let me put it right in here. See, we'll just plug it in. There you go, snaps in. Yeah, okay, it looks fine. Takes a lot of space from where your fingers would go, but that's not the dumbest part. The fact that it takes up a big chunky spot in the back, that's not Type-C. It goes to micro. What? So you now are set back a generation. Instead of Type-C, you are using micro, but there's Type-C there. Type-C, why? 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 This is probably the dumbest thing because now you cannot use the charge cable that came with the console or that you probably have lying around or you just bought to light up. You cannot use it. This is dumb. I think I've used it once and realized this is stupid. I'm not going to dig out those old obsolete cables in order to charge this. Stupid. Now, if you can find them that are Type-C to Type-C, okay, maybe, but then don't use the adhesive on your controller because then it might leave adhesive damage onto it. So I say do not use that. So that is the dumbest thing I have seen and I have purchased. When I purchased it, I did not realize that was on the top. And then when I did a video of it, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 3, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. These are a few of the PlayStation accessories. So in my opinion, some of the best that you can purchase as well as some of the worst. Hey, you might like these. I just think they feel nice, but it's kind of pointless. Now, I have seen it where some of the stick caps are a bit larger, and then when you go to do your 360 right there, it can't go all the way down because some of the silicone is so thick and on both the stick cap and the controller skin that it barely goes all the way down, and it's just a terrible thing. That's why I suggest swapping out these face plates and then putting your stick caps on. I think this is the best way to go. I like the texture here over the standard PlayStation 5 stick. I don't know, I just think it's a little plain. And I like the full texture so it doesn't slip. Your thumb will not slip unless you have really sweaty thumbs. Same thing with this one. This one actually has a full texture around, so that also keeps it from going as well. The skull in the middle does a lot more to keep your fingers from slipping than you would think. So this is a fantastic set as well. These are more like the standard PlayStation 5 stick caps, but you do have the stick in the center. And it's a little more resistant, I guess you could say, to slippage, the style of rubber they use. That's why I like these. I've gone through a number of different brands from Hyperkin to these generic ones that I got at Five Below, and then these that are the Skull & Co. The Skull & Co. are my favorites, but I would definitely recommend the Hyperkin as well because they have the textures, but they don't have the color rings, and I like the color rings that match the controller. So what did you think about those PlayStation 5 controller accessories? Some of the best and some of the not so best accessories, but what I would mention, the charger, probably a necessity. Well, if you have multiple controllers, if you only have one, maybe 2, okay? But if you're one of those people that games a lot, or you have multiple controllers, multiple people playing on your PlayStation 5, it's definitely a worthwhile investment. Now, I'm also a big fan of the customization colors and the stick caps. Those are great. Now, I have looked online for a number of different, I guess you could say, options for customizing or adding accessories or doing all kinds of things, and I really haven't found too much. I found a couple for the console with face plates and I guess bottom cooler pieces that whole games and stuff, but I'm not a big fan of those because we all know what those fans do. They actually blow up into the console, which can actually take the dust and push it up in there. So be careful on those. I always recommend people to be very wary on those. But these accessories are some of the easiest. Again, I've scoured Amazon without taking your controller apart and completely modding it. There aren't too many accessories out there except for these. I think these are rather inexpensive too, and just really fun to play with on your controller and make your controller your own. Tell me what you guys have in the comments section below for your PlayStation 5 DualSense controllers. What accessories that you use, if you did not see them in this video, I would really like to know. Headsets don't count because you can use wireless and they don't attach to your controller. Remember that. But hey, thank you guys so much again. God bless you all. Like we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.